Hey gamers, what is going on? Welcome back to the Batcast podcast where we discuss everything mental health and Batman related. And today we will be continuing the series of Inmates of Arkham Asylum, and if they would be long, this is part 3, so I want to let you know now, if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, to go find them on the channel. They shouldn't be too far. I can even put them in the description. But I would watch those first so that you have some background to both Arkham Asylum and why we'll be using the New Jersey law to see if these inmates would be admitted or not. Throughout Batman's history, the Dark Knight has gone toe-to-toe with many foes. Most, however, are admitted to Arkham Asylum, home for the criminally insane. Today, I want to question whether some of these most prominent rogues truly do belong in Arkham. Like I said though, check out the last 2 videos if you haven't already. Currently, we only have one inmate in Arkham Asylum who we admitted last week, or last episode, and that is Clayface. So hopefully today we will be admitting more people. Our roster is also a lot smaller today because I want more villains to spread out through the future. And as with the other videos, we will be analyzing the inmates' backgrounds, worst crimes, psychological assessments, and then ending with possible admittance to Arkham Asylum. So let's get started. So today we'll be discussing Killer Croc, King Tut, and the Mad Hatter. And so we'll get started right now. Killer Croc. Killer Croc was once a Gotham show freak who eventually turned to a life of crime after being abused throughout his life. He often fights the Dark Knight in the sewers of Gotham City where he lives. Wayland was born with epidermolytic hyperkeratosis, which slowly turned him into a crocodile-looking creature. His father left him when he was a baby after his mother died during childbirth. Eventually, Wayland was adopted by his alcoholic aunt, who raised and abused him throughout his childhood. Wayland's worst crimes include child kidnapping in Batman Hush, cannibalism in different media and Batman Arkham, mass murder in Suicide Squad in Arkham City, prison slaughter in Batman A Serious House on Serious Earth, and assault in most media. A psychological assessment of Croc concludes that he suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, antisocial personality disorder, bipolar disorder, possible intellectual disability, schizophrenia, and body dysmorphia. King Tut. William McElroy, who was once a highly respected Egyptologist at Yale University. However, during a student protest turned violent, McElroy was hit in the head by a rock. Because of this brain injury, when McElroy awoke again, he believed that he was the reincarnation of King Tutankhamun, and that Gotham City was the ancient city of Thebes. His contempt against Batman and Robin is mainly that they impede his progress from regaining his throne in Gotham or Thebes. However, when a ceiling fell on his head and he awoke, he forgot all that he had done when he was King Tut. Tut's worst crimes include kidnapping in Batman 1966, attempted murder, mass delusion, conspiracy against the government, and use of toxic substances against the public. Psychological assessments of McElroy have concluded that he shows signs of delusions, dissociative personality disorder, trauma-induced psychosis, amnesia, and obsessive and compulsive disorder. Mad Hatter. Jervis Tetch was once a researcher who was enthralled by the works of Lewis Carroll, specifically Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. While the character does not have a modus operandi on why he commits his crimes, most depictions show that he once fell in love with a woman who rejected him, after which Jervis turned to a life of crime, kidnapping a girl who he then called Alice, or usually most depictions are the girl that rejected him, who he kidnaps. Other versions of the character show a psychological break that lead him to believe that he is the Mad Hatter in Carroll's work. Some of Tetch's worst crimes include child abduction in Detective Comics 526, mass mind control in Batman the Animated Series and Batman Arkham City and Origins, and also Night. Murder of Alice slash stand-ins slash hostages. Forced brain surgery in Arkham City. Psychological torture and mass suicide attempts presented in the Arkham files. Psychological assessments of Jervis conclude that he may suffer from delusional personality disorder, schizoaffective disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, dissociative identity disorder, and erotomania. With these backgrounds of each characters in mind, let's look at their insanity pleas, starting with Killer Croc. According to New Jersey law, and this is specifically the one on screen, is specifically the one that I'll be using for assessing these these criminals. According to this law, in order for an insanity plea to be valid, the perpetrator must A, not know that the nature of the act was wrong, and B, that they lack the behavior necessary to conform to law. When specifically assessing Killer Croc, I want to start by observing his behavior in Arkham Origins. Croc seems to take his orders and follow his higher-ups.
What have I got to show for it, huh? My own men in the slammer? Not no more. No, tonight, we're making some changes.
Furthermore, we see in Batman the Animated Series, Croc understands that what he's doing is wrong when discussing how each villain, quote, almost got him.
Anyone else want to go? Me! There I was, holed up in this quarry. When Batman came nosing around, he was getting closer.
And?
I threw a rock at him.
Throughout the animated series, Croc mentions his background as a fighter to Batman, leading us to believe that he understands why he's committing the acts. Moreover, in Arkham Asylum, we can see that Croc understands what he is doing when he sets traps up for Batman, going as far as threatening Batman in the opening sequence of the game.
What's it doing?
I've got your scent, Batman. I will hunt you down.
Using these clips, we can come to the conclusion that Killer Croc does not qualify for mental insanity and is criminally responsible for his actions. While he does present psychological distress, his actions were not done out of a temporary or permanent psychosis. However, if Croc presents with active psychosis, catatonia, or cognitive regression, and a qualified forensic psychologist or psychiatrist certifies that he cannot understand legal proceedings or control his own behavior due to mental illness, then a temporary commitment to Arkham under New Jersey 34 to 27 would be valid. King Tut. In the 1966 version of King Tut, he, McElroy, is shown to be hit in the head and regaining consciousness as King Tut. Later on in the episode, Tut comes out of his delusion and explains that he did not know what happened throughout the last two episodes. I think they're probably one episode, but because of the way that TV airs, it's almost like two episodes. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. We can see behavioral differences between King Tut and McElroy as well to conclude that he was put into temporary psychosis. King Tut uses Egyptian metaphors.
Seated as prophesied. Hey, that's great, boss. I mean, your Royal Highness.
Speaks about grandiose plans of ruling Gotham, genuinely believes he is Pharaoh, and completes his actions non-maliciously, i.e. he performs the actions to restore Egypt or Gotham. Furthermore, McElroy is delusional. He believes that his actions are divine and not illegal, and is driven by personal delusion. For these reasons, King Tut would be committed to Arkham Asylum on a temporary insanity plea, most likely. However, after evaluation, if the psychiatrist sees fit, he may leave to continue his life. However, if McElroy continues, or even in Arkham shows regressions, his stay may be longer. Mad Hatter. Tetch's case follows much of the same lines as Tut's. However, Tetch's trigger is emotional rejection by a woman that leads him to believe he's the Mad Hatter and not physical trauma to the head.
Can we talk?
In Batman the Animated Series, Tetch reconstructs scenes from the original book with his victims, which Batman has to save, occasionally even speaking like a storybook character. In the Arkham games, Tetch spends his time creating brain chips and doing surgery to create his goons. He speaks in rhymes and seems to believe that he is the Mad Hatter and that Batman is after his Alice. Because of these reasons, Jervis Tetch, aka the Mad Hatter, would qualify for a legal insanity defense under both prongs of New Jersey law. A, he lacks understanding of the wrongfulness of his acts, and B, he cannot conform his behavior to the law due to the active delusions and psychosis. So that is all I have today. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know this was a shorter one, but like I said earlier, I kind of want to save some of the, a lot more villains for later, so I might just be doing 3 villains from now on. If you guys did enjoy, please like and subscribe, and if you have any criminal or villain suggestions, put them in the comments, and I'll definitely try to include them next episode. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye.